Welcome to the latest installment of the Sharp Best Ball Show. I'm your host, Todd Burros, at Best Ball NFL on Twitter. And I am joined today by both Ray Summerland and Rumford Johnny. Rumford is, hold on, let's see. There he is. He's joining us from a dark room. We had some camera issues.
It's all the smog. It's all the smog from Canada, Todd.
Yeah, you know what? I was very worried about that yesterday. Today, thankfully, it got a little better. When I first got into this whole thing, I listened to a certain number of podcasts. Right, you find out which are the popular ones. There was obviously Adam Levitan, Peter Jennings, and Al Zeidenfeld was one, and you guys were the other. And the first guest I ever had on a podcast was Matthew Friedman. And one of the questions I asked him, the last question was, if you could only have one analyst to learn everything from, and he thought about it a minute, he said one name, and he goes, no, I want Rumford Johnny. Wow. So from that point on, I listened to your show, and I enjoyed it very much. I was very happy when Ray came over to work here at Sharp Football Analysis. When I first met him, Ray said he was going to be a bullpen arm, and he's quickly turned into Mariano fucking Rivera, doing pretty much everything, including cleaning up the shower at the end. So very
Ajax.
Yeah, and I thought to myself it would be really cool to kind of do a reunion show, and I was really glad that both of you were willing to do it. Now Ray isn't feeling very well, and he's going to jump out. After that,
you might see the sweat just rolling off of me as I try very hard. Yeah, here we go. We got the Pedialyte going. The off-brand. I'm not made of money. I can't afford that real stuff.
No. I mean, you're not paid like Mariano Rivera. You just do the work.
So if you see the sweat pouring off, you'll know that it's all illness caused.
It's not flop sweat from having to draft with me and Rummy. So we will be drafting an underdog draft at some point. I will sign us up for that. I will not announce when. The reason for that, obviously, is I don't want a bunch of people sniping us, and I want us to be able to see our queue. And this podcast is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy and the biggest fantasy football tournament of all time, Best Ball Mania 4. Don't know what Best Ball is? It's simple. You just enter Best Ball Mania on the Underdog Slick mobile app, draft your team, and that's it. Yep, it's set it and forget it, as Underdog optimizes your lineup weekly to create the highest scoring one. It's here, it's Best Ball Mania 4, and it's your shot at a first place prize of $3 million. So that would be $1.5 million for me and $1.5 million for Rummy. Ray would get nothing because he was sick.
Well, that would be the worst turn of events in history.
That would be the worst. That would be the worst beat ever. That you would have to say, "Hey guys, I was there. Can I at least get a couple $100?"
We'll send him a case of Pedialyte.
Yep.
I might need it still.
Man, that was the best line of the day. All right, get signed up on UnderdogFantasy.com or via the App Store with the promo code SharpKit. And they'll not only double your first deposit up to $100, which means if you are not great at English, as I sometimes am not, if you deposit $100, you'll have $200 to play with. But you will also receive the Sharp Football Draft Kit for just $1. That includes over 40 exclusive fantasy football articles, which will help your chances at winning the $3 million grand prize. That is, if Rummy and I don't take it out. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SharpKit. You must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 21 in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. And if you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. And that does it, guys. The podcast is now over. I mean, we are ready. I want to start by asking you guys how you two met and how you decided to do the pod. Who wants to go first?
I think I know the answer to this. I think the answer to this is that we probably met on Twitter because, back in our day, in 2010, 11, I guess around that time, that's where you met everybody, was the glory days of Twitter. And then I believe that you and Ryan asked me to be on the old Two Mugs podcast, and I think that's the first time we talked. Is that about right, do you think?
That sounds about right. I mean, it's funny because you have to use the old internet Wayback Machine to find the old Two Mugs episodes. But yeah, I think I do remember doing the graphics for you and having you on the our weekly podcast. But yeah, that was it pretty much. And of course, like we were, we all fell in love with Ray because he's so detailed and he's like like it said Mr. Everything, Todd, because he did everything for our podcast when we decided to join up and do our stuff. Ray was, had the lights on. He made sure the sound was right and everything. And I just sat there and acted like an idiot. And
I made sure Rummy had his camera on.
There was no camera back then.
It was part of every weekly record.
It was those the 10 like 1865 Civil War stills that we had, but that was it pretty much.
And
the old Zencaster links, right? Isn't that what we used to do it on, Zencaster?
I think so.
We couldn't see each other. We weren't even on Google Meet. We weren't even into the time of Google Meet yet, I don't think, for doing podcasts.
No, not at all.
When I got invited on my first Fantasy Feast, like I didn't know what to expect. And literally Ross's assistant called my cell phone, and I did it that way. I mean, the world has changed so much. And, I think that there are some in the audience looking at my picture right now saying, I wish I could go back to those days.
Todd from PA. Ross Tucker. There you go, brother.
Yep.
How come you only have one D in your name, Todd? How come you don't have two?
Well, at least you listened to the episode. That was my claim to fame at the time. And how long did you guys do the show? And my favorite
couple of years. I think a couple of years, right?
I think it was 2. Like I think that that's the number that popped into my head. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right. At least 2, because I listened for at least 2. I thought
maybe we got closer to 3.
I think you might have done 3.
Yeah, maybe.
And
that was enough. And Rummy said, "I never want to see this person ever again." and then you made him
literally
come onto this
he's
show
now not letting you see him.
Exactly.
Oh, I know.
No, that's exactly what's happening here.
This is revenge.
I was in a horrible farming accident, guys. I'm really disfigured, so I don't want anybody to see me right now.
I know you share some time. I actually one time you showed where you live, Johnny, and
yes,
and the picture of like I don't know if it's a lake or whatever it is, but it's just this beautiful area, and I'm like, I've been there. I had an account back when I was a rep. And I was like, I must have been like a mile from you or something because the picture was exactly the same.
I mean, I was the most lame, like, Twitter, when I signed up for Twitter, like, at the time, I don't know why. I just decided to use my location and then put it into my name, like Rumford Johnny, because this is where I'm from, Rumford right now. And that's kind of where
Todd from PA because I used to call to the Ross Tucker show, and I was Todd from PA, so I said, maybe someone will recognize me.
Well, that's funny that you say that because that would be the same thing for me for Sirius XM. Because, like, before the days where everybody was listening to podcasts, I call into, like, Adam Shine's show and a couple of those other shows. And I know this Teron Davenport, who's a beat guy now for for the Titans, I believe.
Titans? Yeah, the Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be a caller all the time. He used to call in a Sirius like weekly, the Shine Show, and then became a beat reporter. So it's kind of funny, like looking back to the people that kind of interacted with Sirius back then. That was really like the early days for me to kind of like get back into it, because like local sports radio is horrible, as you guys know. It's like really like terrible. So Sirius was a level up.
I was weaned on Mike and the Mad Dog, and now like Mike Francesa, who back then was considered the normal one. You know,
Right.
everyone on Twitter just thinks he's the weirdo. Yeah. I mean, it's unlistenable. It's 24 hours of people complaining that their team lost the game.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, New York sports, I mean, you know,
Oh,
it's tough.
here we go.
It's a tough lot, man.
Here we go. I covered New England for like 12 years. And
New
it
England's
seemed
bad
like,
too, yeah.
And it seemed like for about 7 straight years, every time I had to go up there, either the Red Sox had won a World Series or the Patriots had won a Super Bowl. And they, of course, had no problem rubbing it in my face.
Well, I grew up on it, and I grew up with like, you know, having like absolutely getting destroyed in the Super Bowl against the Bears. And who else was it that they played? It was
45-10.
Favre's Packers, I think it was.
Yep.
And that was horrible. Yeah, that was horrible. So I mean, that was my early days of like cheering for the Pats, and then obviously it all kind of came together in the 2000s. But yeah, believe me, it was misery for a very, very long time until that like last 10 years or so.
I grew up in the 70s until Lawrence Taylor showed up. The Giants were awful. Dude, and, I always liked Belichick, because, he was one of my heroes. They won 2 Super Bowls with him.
Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he might be losing it.
It's Mr. Personality. Yeah, I mean, I think right now he's kind of phoning it in a little bit. It feels like it, and that's I hate. If anybody can be allowed to do.
You think a guy that was just fine with Matt Patricia as offensive coordinator is phoning it in a little bit? He's like, we'll be fine. I mean, that guy's got a pencil, so it probably is going to be okay. Like, I assume that was the thought.
He had done such a good job as a head coach for the Lions.
I mean, the Lions were an amazing success with the Lions. I can't imagine why it would go.
The Belichick tree is like drinking from a poisoned well. Like literally every single one of those guys who's gone out on his own has been worse than the one before.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. We'll have the head coach of the 2024 Arizona Cardinals, Bill O'Brien. So that's coming soon. So
oh god.
and then they'll get Nuke back just so they could trade him again or cut him again or something. So how come you guys decided to stop? It was a pretty damn popular show.
Lay
the blame on me, Rummy. Let's go.
It was my girlfriend Yoko Ono. No, I'm just kidding. No, Ray, I think you said something about like you were gonna go back to teaching at the time, and it was, and I understand, like I get like that can be all consuming, and it was too much of a grind, and we were ready to kind of just do that anyway. And I was sort of like the world was changing a little bit in terms of the industry, I think, and I just felt like we were kind of doing something that wasn't as analytically intense as some of the other sites were doing, and so we really couldn't put in the time to keep up with everybody. So it was just kind of a natural, like, okay, and I even changed my Twitter bio and said I'll be watching from the cheap seats, and I haven't changed it since. So I'm pretty happy with that,
Yeah,
I was going to work. Part-time at Roto-World, and I was also teaching, and so it was just kind of a time constraint thing. Unfortunately, you know how that goes from time to time. But
I hate to interrupt, but I just joined, and of course, I was the 12th.
Nice.
Oh, we're live.
It's
ready to go.
I was the 12th. I thought I would give it a couple minutes to fill. So this is a Best Ball Mania draft, and we got the 7th pick. I just want to show you guys real quickly how I tend to do this. So if I'm 7 picks away, I will fill in the next 7 guys. Not that I necessarily want one of them, but it kind of sets you up. So over here it says Q7, and where does it say how many picks away we are?
You're like the old lady at the grocery store. You're getting your coupons ready. That's all.
Exactly. So, and then I'll ask you, all right, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more. Who do you like? Is there anyone out of the Bijan, Eckler, Lamb, Adams, Wilson, or Amon-Ra St. Brown that you guys like more than anyone else? Because I'm good with all of them. If you look at my
Eckler, most likely, I would say out of that group.
That's good. So that and there's nobody here. You're okay with Kelsey or Diggs if that's who makes it?
Yeah. To be honest, and I guess this isn't my team, so I don't get a say in this. But
well, you're still here, so it can be.
I'm still here. It can be. The sweat is pouring. Like, you have no idea how much sweat is currently pouring off of me. But the
we're on the clock. You want Diggs or Eckler, Rummy? I tend to go wide receiver first.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with Diggs.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that wide receiver, like, what you end up with, even here at the 7th pick, what you're going to end up with coming back for your number one wide receiver is just, it's really rough. You could find, a lot more running back value in that 3rd and 4th round if you still want to go kind of not full zero RB. You want to have like a hero RB. There's still options there. Whereas with wide receiver, I mean, you get past, I guess, Amon-Ra, and you start to go, well, I don't know about this. I do like Olave quite a bit. I think that if you look at his numbers, his underlying numbers.
I just put him in the queue. I like Tony Pollard a lot.
Tony Pollard's good too, yeah. But like I think I'm really committed, and I'll build a few that aren't this, but I think I'm really committed to wide receiver starts, just because that whole like wide receiver 14 to 30 range is just, it's a minefield, and I don't feel really good about, I don't think anybody in that range. Like, is there anybody you feel really, really good about in that range?
Not really.
No, and I think you got to mix them in because a lot of them have upside. I'm okay with Olave. I would love Waddle to fall, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, I would doubt it. The thing about Olave is, if you look at his yards per route run last year, like, it was an elite rookie season. Even with the quarterback situation in New Orleans, it was right there with like Justin Jefferson, with Odell Beckham, with Jamar Chase. Like, there's a chance that he is just one of these really talented guys who got a quarterback upgrade. And so I'm pretty in on Chris Olave. In fact, I just drafted him yesterday in one of these.
I liked him a lot better in the 3rd round, but I think he's a little bit out over his skis. But I'm okay with, you got to mix him in. You can see. So here's, I've got, and this is a little behind. All right, we're on the clock. So do we want Olave? I mean, Barkley fell. Taylor
Saquon,
fell.
though. Oof, Saquon's tough to pass there, isn't he?
I would go with Barkley.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a start, man.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now we're looking at 11 picks away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see Josh Allen has lit up in green because we have Diggs over here. And this is thanks to the Spike Week. Ramondre has a Buffalo correlation, which is nice. So we need DK, Hall. I don't mind Andrews. Is there anybody else in this range that you guys want to add to the queue? Ridley, Jackson's, Debo, Cooper. I mean, there's really a drop-off in talent there.
Yeah,
those are all the wide receivers I'm talking about. Like, that I just have.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to click.
I'm okay with
some
Cooper. I'm okay with Cooper in that range.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
I think
upside there if Watson takes a step forward for him.
Right, because he's a clear wide receiver 1, I think.
I mean, obviously, we'd love to see Josh Allen drop. I don't think he's going to, but sometimes he does fall that far now. I like Amari. I don't mind Ridley. You can see I'm pretty low on Debo. And this only updates once you finish a draft. I've got 35 drafts right now that aren't finished. I've been doing a lot more slows. So, all right, I got to stay looking at this so
Todd,
you guys can see it.
Yeah, can you zoom in just a little bit? Or actually, I think instead of sharing the screen, you can share just that tab.
No,
if you share
because
just that tab, maybe
just the way I had to do it. I just made it a little bigger. Is that better?
Oh yeah, that'll be. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah.
Let me see. Let me try. How's that?
Well, we're just seeing your screen right now. There you go.
Okay.
Is that better?
It's still small though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can see enough.
Yeah, I mean,
this
especially since you're kind of going back and forth, so
I'm going to stop doing that.
Let's see.
So, do we agree? Do we agree, Josh Allen here?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I think I don't know how you can pass that. Lamar went before Josh Allen.
Well, all right.
Nice.
So now we're 10 picks away. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow. I know people are down on Josh Allen because they think that they're going to just run a shit ton this year, and I don't think they will.
All right.
I don't think I've seen Lamar go. Have you seen that, Todd? Lamar go ahead of I've seen. Josh Allen fall
maybe in 100 drafts I've seen it once. Mike Williams has a Buffalo week 16 correlation. Is there anybody in this neck? We obviously aren't interested in a second quarterback. I don't mind London, McLaurin. Is there anybody here that you like more than anyone else?
I'm in on Judy. I'm kind of in on maybe buying a dip on Denver's whole passing offense, especially if you can get P. Ryan with it. I think that Judy is so clearly their best wide receiver. Sutton just isn't it. And he is so clearly their best wide receiver. He doesn't have the size of like a Colston or a Thomas, but he fits in really well with that kind of usage pattern. And I think that if he stays healthy this year, which kind of has been an issue for him, I think that he's going to establish himself as like clearly the number one receiver. And so I do like him.
I was more talking about because I think we need to add a couple more people. Oh no, we're good. We're good. We got enough. Right. Yeah,
I kind of like Christian. I like Christian Watson here right now.
I'm with you on that one too. Yeah,
he falls to us. Yeah,
I'm good with either of those guys. You can see I've got a lot more. I think Watson just went.
Yeah, he just went.
But you can see I've got 22 Judy overall, 19% in this contest. So I'm definitely on board there. I'm good.
If we talk about someone a little bit lower there, so with Kirk, I wish he was cheaper because Ridley is so expensive. I think there's a lot of assumptions going on that Ridley hasn't really played in 2 years. He's going to come back and just be the Calvin Ridley from whatever that was 2020.
Lawrence likes to he likes to spread it around a little bit too.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know about that Ridley price. I do wish Kirk was less expensive, but it is what it is now.
All right. So the Chargers guys have a correlation, but I'm okay with Judy if that's the way you guys want to go.
I mean, I'm not a big Judy guy right now, but if that Ray wants to make that move, that's fine.
I'm good with the correlation. If we want to go with, I would go with Allen over Williams.
Oh, I would too, 100%. Yeah.
Mike
Williams, I just don't trust Mike Williams' health. I don't know that.
It's much harder because of that LAC correlation at the end. Both P. Ryan and Javonte Williams go late. But with the Chargers, once you get past these two receivers, you're talking about really second tier guys. So I like that we did that. So
right.
1, 2, 3.
I ended up with that exact same problem you're talking about in a draft yesterday, is where I ended up with Herbert and I didn't have anything to stack him because it was kind of like Herbert fell and I was like, well, I think I have to take this value, but there's nothing late unless Quentin Johnson goes way too early for my taste. Unless you really want to take a shot on Gerald Everett, there's nothing there.
I'm seeing Kenny Walker on that list, man. I'm getting a little salivating a little bit.
I like Walker in the 5th a lot. I made a tweet about it a week ago. I'm going to own a lot of Walker in the 5th.
I like Charbonnet a lot, but I don't like him that much.
No.
I don't think he's gonna steal Kenny Walker's spot at all.
Last year, I kicked myself because I liked both of them. I liked Penny and Walker, and I ended up with 23% Penny and like 6% Walker.
Right.
And I felt like that was a tactical mistake on my part, that they're great leverage off each other as well. So,
right.
I think this is a situation where you can consider one of the two of them on pretty much every team and not really hurt yourself if it works out.
Yeah.
I like Pittman in this range.
Oh, me too.
I was reading Matt Harmon's reception perception, and Pittman, he just needs a quarterback. And what if Richardson can get him the ball? I mean, the discount we're seeing right now is based on the fact that he's not. Are you anyone not want Pittman, want London, Moore? I'm okay with any of the top 4 wide receivers here.
I like Pittman. I like Moore. I even like Ayuk a little bit, but I don't trust the quarterback situation. So I would say Pittman and Moore. Between Pittman and Moore.
Yeah, go with Pittman. Go with Pittman. I have absolutely no Pittman. I am real worried about kind of what we've seen from him for 3 years. The kind of rookie season I expect Richardson to have isn't going to be very good for him because he's been so reliant on volume, I think. But you're right that the upside is there, that Pittman just comes in and is much better than we expect.
I might be phenomenal on reception perception.
I might be in the minority, guys, but I'm all in on Richardson. I've been drafting so far with guys like Allen, Hurts, and then tandem with Richardson, and then building stacks that way. So I'm cool with Richardson and any of his targets. So.
All right, so let's look over our team, kind of show people how we're doing it. You can see in blue, Josh Allen is stacked. We've got the week 16 correlation, but not the week 17 yet. We're 1-1-3 build. I love that kind of start because wide receiver falls off so much.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be in a position to get another really good wide receiver here. Let's start talking about favorites because there's like 4 I like here.
Okay.
I mean, Lockett, like just every single year, we're going to keep doing this with Lockett.
Yeah,
I think that Seattle offense in general is undervalued. Geno Smith looks like a screaming value to me right now. And if we could get Geno as a second quarterback much later and you have Lockett there, I think that's pretty interesting if he lasts these next few picks.
Yeah, me too. I like Lockett. I like Hollywood. I don't mind Evans, and I like Treylon Burks. Rummy, your thoughts?
I'm with both of you guys. I'm with Lockett. I've drafted him every year, I think, pretty much. Even in the MFL 10 of death, I mean, I've always tried to target.
There he goes.
Well, too bad.
There goes Goddard. So we've got Hollywood. I'm Hollywood or Treylon, but I'm okay with Evans.
Oof.
Yikes. I would say this stuff with Nuck maybe going to Tennessee has me really worried.
Oh, really?
On Treylon.
Right.
So
Hollywood, Evans.
Maybe I'd say Hollywood. Maybe you're definitely getting number 1 target share there.
I got a poll.
You scared of Kadarius? Oh, sorry, that's okay. You scared of Kadarius Toney, Todd?
I think he's a guy you got to mix in.
Yeah, okay. I think he has that potential to blow up. So
I do too, and I think that I'm more interested in a guy like him than another Bill at this point. I don't feel you need Gabe Davis. I like Waller. No. I like Waller a tremendous amount, and that
Waller might be the best value at tight end.
Like, guys, here's my rub. Here's my rub on Buffalo. I think they're going to see two tight end sets than anything, and that'll make Davis the odd man out.
Yeah, I like that call. I love Waller if he makes it back.
Yeah,
because 100%. That opens up Daniel Jones, and then you have a plethora of Rams and Giants late that you can mix in.
Isaiah Hodgins season over here.
I like Hodgins.
Me too.
No,
Me too.
He's the only wide receiver in that room that has size and like perimeter ability.
And there goes him. Waller. Damn it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
All right, so what else
we've certainly got some. Well, Akers gives us the correlation with Barkley. I'm okay with Gabe. I'm okay with Swift. Swift has week 16 and 17. I don't love Swift, but I think once you get into the mid 7th round, that's baked in. Sanders is ADP 61, and we're at pick 76. So to me, if he makes it back, I don't know how you pass on him.
Yeah, I would take him too.
Swift, Swift seems to me to be priced in a way that doesn't take into account the downside. And I think there are does he have less uncertainty than Alvin Kamara and Javonte Williams? I don't really think he does. And they go 2 rounds later, and he's probably has less upside than those guys. And so I'm really confused by where he's going. And I think you could say the same thing about Dalvin at this point.
All right, Miles made it, so that to me is a no-brainer. 17 picks
getting all
later,
that ADP value, line value, gotta love it.
Yep. Let's go, baby.
And he opens up that Carolina plays Jacksonville. So
yeah, I like that correlation. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm sorry to do this, but I think I got to bounce. I think I need to lay down.
I'm glad you made it as far as
Ray.
you did.
Don't bounce. All of it will come out, man.
And there's your boy Richardson, right in the range where we could take him. It's a little early.
All right, I'll talk to y'all guys later.
Bye, Ray.
Easy, Ray. Miss you, buddy. All right.
Miss you, man.
I'm with you on Richardson. I like him. If it starts to move that way, because I mean that's what I have. That's the build that I have right now, Todd. In the MFL 10 of death, I got Josh Allen and Richardson as my quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're done. You got 2 good ones. You're done.
Right. You got two guys who are gonna probably have like a 50-yard floor on the ground. I mean, it's pretty sick. So
yeah, I think if there's a couple guys there that I also like, but and the quarter. No, I like this build a lot.
Yep, me too.
And we got.
I think we can add if tight end. We could add Knox later on too.
Yep.
I think Knox is being overlooked because I think when you look at the end of the year numbers, they're going to be very, very similar. Him and Kincaid are going to be pretty similar, except one might have more touchdowns.
I like David Montgomery a lot too at this point.
Me too.
But I'm open to Montgomery or Richardson. There goes Montgomery.
Okay, so let's go Richardson, man. Let's lock down our quarterbacks. And then we've got Pittman. We already got Pittman stacked with him. I mean,
And Las Vegas is the correlation. We can start looking.
Beautiful.
There's not a lot late for that, but it's okay.
That's all right.
So team view, playoff view, still nobody. All right, we've got 10, 8 in the queue. Kamara. We don't need another quarterback. Charbonnet, we could throw in. Anyone down here you like? Perrine has that correlation.
I do like him. I mean, I always worry. This because I heard you. I watched part of your show with Rich and with Rebar, latest one, and you guys were talking about the arbitrage picks, and that's one of my things. If I feel like the situation is muddy, especially in the backfield, I generally will go with the cheapest option I can possibly get because
it's called the Patriot system.
Yeah, right. I've done that for years. I've always done that for years, and that's how I ended up with Ramondre one year, and I ended up with somebody else another year. It's like you just have to kind of realize that you can't bet on one guy to really lock down all of the work. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and then there's injuries. You have to build certain teams with the assumption that people are going to get hurt. Now, if Jamison Williams makes it, that's a really intrigue. When you got 4 wide receivers like this,
right?
You can take the luxury pick. James Cook is a good pick because he's going to catch passes. He's got a week 6.
I kind of like Cortland Sutton too.
I'm okay with. I like Perrine more, but I'm okay with a Sutton share if he makes it.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, because
A lot of good options here.
I do think the Denver, they're going to bounce back. I think also when we think about the Denver offense too, we're going to be looking at some of the other guys too, the ancillary guys. But how do you feel about Lazard?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
All right. So we just lost Sutton, Jamison Williams, or P. Ryan for me. Juju, I think you can get a better Patriot later.
I think Jamison is a bigger moonshot. I'd rather go for the moonshot at this point.
All right. I like it.
You know? Yeah.
No, that's why I brought him up.
You can get a P. Ryan value somewhere else, and it wouldn't be that much different, I don't think.
Yeah. And I love Dulcich.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's who I meant to say, too, at tight end. Dulcich, you can get later, and I think he's going to be – he's one of the guys that I think I actually drafted him in the MFL 10 of Death. He's one of my tight ends, along with – I don't want to give away too much in case anybody's listening, but yeah, I draft a little bit later in tight end. If you don't get Kelsey and some of the earlier guys, I wait. That's one of the things that I do in best ball, always have, is just wait, and you can really build upside with guys that are in the year 2, year 3 tight ends who you think are going to blow up, who have an opportunity to blow up.
I could show you, hold on, I'll duplicate this. I'll show you my ownership. 6 picks away. We got a minute.
Okay.
So we'll look at my early ownership. Look at my tight ends.
Oh, Woods, that's my guy too.
And Isaiah Likely, another talented guy.
No,
Jake
I love
Ferguson,
it. I love Dulcich.
Dulcich.
And I got a little bit of Schultz too.
Yeah, well, I had Schultz a lot before he ended up leaving.
Yeah. I just think a rookie quarterback's going to be leaning on a tight end a little bit too. So
yeah, I like that call. So, and then this is current Dulcich 28%.
Nice. Yeah, I like Dulcich a lot. I mean, I like some of the rookies that came out, like Laporta and some of the rookie tight ends. I thought Kincaid just got juiced up way too much.
Yeah, no way.
And I stayed away. So I had been like lobbying more for waiting on Knox and getting Knox later on. So yeah.
So I'm going to throw out Jacoby Myers here for that nice little.
Oh, there you go.
That nice little blue that'll fill in that.
Sure.
And we've got 2 good running backs. I feel like we can fill in.
Who's the backup right now in Vegas? Who's the backup quarterback?
Brian Hoyer, the Destroyer.
The Destroyer. Well, there you go.
Are you okay with Myers, or do you want to go with one of these running backs?
I'm just wondering about Jimmy, and if they do, because I mean, obviously it's Patriot West anyway.
We could shoot for the moon with Kamara.
Yeah, go with Myers, man. Myers is he's going to be so reliable. They're going to be checking down him all the time, so he's going to have a floor of 5 catches.
He's just one of those guys that's not exciting, but he's always open.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. He's a guy that you root for to score touchdowns. Remember that one year I think he just had 1 or something,
or 0.
Oh, 0 was. I thought he had 1 at the end of the game, and then he didn't have it after. But all right, so now you got, the Devin, the Arcane. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Arcane. I'm not sure. A-Chain.
I love A-Chain.
I do like him too, but I worry about that whole situation because it's like he's a collector of running backs, and it feels a little.
And when I look at this, right, this is where this comes in. Penny, I don't have a lot this year. I had a lot in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like 3-headed monsters, but he's got a week 16 with the Giants, week 17. So when I add these guys who you don't want to have 0 of,
right?
This is where I use this kind of thing as a tiebreaker.
Now looking ahead,
and then he just went. Someone must be listening.
Okay, so now we got somebody like Zay Jones. If you're talking about the correlations, the playoff weeks, that's another guy that is like one of the guys I had mentioned with Lawrence earlier when I was talking to Ray. that Lawrence likes to spread it around. Sometimes he just locks in on somebody
And
on a weekly basis.
Zay's played good. The only thing I worry about a little bit is that we have no tight ends and 2 running backs, but I'm still okay with Zay.
Yeah, okay. So who do you have for running backs that you like in this range?
Next pick we want Dulcich, I think.
Okay.
I think Gibson is a good pick.
Okay.
I don't really like any other running back. Kendra Miller's down here.
I like him.
But I think if Zay's there, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think they're another team that's still on the come up. I think the Jaguars are going to steadily improve. They get the same group together. They get the same coaching staff. Lawrence is getting better, and I don't think he's going to regress much. I think they've improved. They've added Ridley. I just think they're going to be a better team. So,
and if he's gone, Gallup, we have that Detroit correlation and a Week 15 Buffalo.
Yeah,
he's a big play guy. I'm not really on Khalil Herbert. Let's go with Zay.
Yeah, let's go with Zay. Cool. And then we can start building more tight ends, I guess.
Yeah, I think we actually could stop at wide receiver. I think we've got 7 good ones, and unless there's a great value,
that is like a murderer's row of wide receivers, right?
I know it is really good.
Yeah, that's nice, and I'm happy right now with the running back so far.
You could see how Zay Jones all of a sudden that popped up. That now we have a correlation with Jacksonville and Carolina.
Right.
So we got running back.
Yep.
I don't.
I like Warren. I
do too. But I really want Dulcich if he's there, even though it's a little.
Yeah. Me too.
Good.
And then later on, we can get somebody like Woods and stuff later. Oh, Algier, I like too.
Algier?
There's nobody else. I mean, he was basically almost a workhorse last year, and he just has a rookie in front of him. If the rookie gets hurt or whatever, I mean, he's going to inherit. And they're a dome team too. I mean,
let's talk. Trying to take down the tournament, right? We've got two good running backs. We've got 2 good quarterbacks. So the type of running back I want now is I'm willing to give up a little bit of floor for guys who like Algier, and like Jaylen Warren, who I found have the talent, to really bring it home. So I think while I like Algier some, I think this is the perfect team for him.
Right.
Now,
I agree.
Now the question is
Warren too.
I mean, Chiggy is still there. I like Dulcich, but I like Chiggy too. Do you have a preference?
I'd rather go with Dulcich. I just like the Denver offense. I think that I just feel more comfortable with it.
I think and then you get that sweet correlation.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that, and Algier might make it back.
Okay.
All right. So now you see we've added the third correlation, all within the natural way of doing it.
Beautiful.
Fits in with the team. We do need, we might want to add. Worst comes to worst, I'll add Pierre Strong in the last round.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's that's the kind of thing too. It's like you just want towards the end, you just want some of those spike weeks, and you're looking at guys that you think can give you the spike weeks. So yeah, this is good, man. I like this is nice. I got a guy Knox down there too still.
Yeah, you saw me. I added him.
Cool.
So the Q's over here.
Yep,
are the
I can see
guys
it.
I like.
I like them too, man. We're on the same page. Page,
which is always good. It's always good when other smart people are on the same people you are.
Yeah.
We're both on Spears too.
Oh yeah, I
love that kid.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at his tape.
Yeah.
And you're worried about his ACL
Can I tell you who he reminds me of? a little bit of.
And then I'll give you my comp.
Okay, I ran through a bunch of comps and all that stuff, but he kind of reminds me of Pacheco, the way he runs. Just like he runs mad. He runs mad.
But
like he's pissed off.
But he's Pacheco's a very up and down runner.
Right.
Spears so my two comps are Ahmad Bradshaw.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
And
that's a really good one.
And
okay.
David Meggett. Right.
You have to go way back for that one. Yeah.
Well, I'm old.
So am I, Todd. It's okay, bro.
But I think Ahmad Bradshaw ran mad too.
That's a really good comp because they're not massive guys, but they're both solidly built guys. So, and they both kind of fit into that same category where they both had good hands in the passing game, but they're also just violent runners. So yeah, I like that a lot.
I like Algier here if he makes it.
Yeah. Did somebody just take Spear? Oh no, Spear just moved up on our queue. That's all.
Oh,
okay.
Thank goodness.
Thank God. Yeah, I like Algier too. If we get Algier and Spears, I mean, I'd be pretty excited. That's a good grouping. Now, how many normally are you shooting for in a draft like this when you've gone with this kind of correlation or this grouping? How many running backs are you looking to come away with?
Well, I'm okay with 5 or 6, right?
Okay.
And because we've only got 2 kind of type A's, I'm more likely to have 6 than 5. But then when it comes down to the end, I'm not dogmatic about it. If I think someone at another position fills the team out better, so I'm going to have a hard time passing on Knox if he makes it.
Yeah, me too. I like him a lot.
Let's look at the buys 9 and 13. So that would be good. I think Knox is underpriced. He gives you that the stack and the correlation for week with the Chargers.
And he already has the chemistry with the quarterback. I mean, it's silly to me. It's just because of the draft capital that everybody shit themselves over Kincaid.
And how many times have we seen it not work out? With these guys who get drafted earlier than you expect. Right. Well, not that I think he was a guy we expected to be drafted pretty early, but we've seen it time and time again where these tight ends don't do it the first year.
You know what he kind of reminds me a little bit of, honestly, and very physically, like not too dissimilar, is like early Zach Ertz.
Yeah,
Kincaid.
Absolutely.
And I don't like that. I don't necessarily love that in year one. I'm not going to put my eggs in that basket. I'd rather get the veteran that we know is going to have the red zone equity. So,
well, and also you're talking about third Zach Ertz. If you remember, people were giving up on the year he broke out. People were giving up on him.
Right. But it took that time for the light to go on. So I mean, obviously, some guys are just you need that time for them. But somebody like Knox has already proven himself already. So.
Matt Waldman pointed out how as people are in love with his hands, but he does show tendencies to struggle to get open.
Right.
So, it's like anything else. I love Kincaid as a player. I just don't like him in the 12th, 13th, or 14th round.
No. And you notice too, like initially, like he got steamed way up early on, and then he started to fall back again. People kind of got sharp to it and said, "Oh, wait a minute,
you good with him here?
The other guys are following." Yeah. What's that?
You good with him here?
Oh yeah.
And then if Spears makes it back, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I like Chuba Hubbard a lot. I mean, I guess I don't like him as much for this team because we have Sanders, but the price on both is so good. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. He'll be there. Now how many tight ends are you looking at? You gonna do
3?
3? Okay. So
yeah.
Who else do we got? So do we get our guy?
The third one I'm not looking at till like the last round or 2.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
That's good. Likely a Jelani. I think Jelani is perfect because
God, I love Jelani Woods.
Yeah.
Just because you get a big mobile quarterback who can sling it, man. Was he 6'7", Jelani Woods?
Yeah, and
he's an absolute tree. He's an absolute tree.
And
So
the reason that I love him so much is, you have to be able to see beyond the obstacles. And that was
right.
something that was hard for me when I first got back into this. And I noticed that the guys who were really good at it were seeing beyond the obstacles. So Woods has obstacles, but if he can get past those obstacles, he is such a phenom physically. He could be a top 3 tight end,
Right.
top 5 tight end. He's got that kind of ability.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also like Laporta now that he's starting to drop.
Me too. Yeah, and that was one of my favorite. That was one of my. I don't know if you saw that when I did my after the draft or just before the draft flag plants. Oh no, just post draft
I
when
missed it.
Yeah, I started on my timeline, but it was Laporta and a couple of other guys, but I that tight end class I do like some of the rookies, but he's by far my favorite, and I think where he landed was just like really perfect because I think he's the kind of player that will thrive with that type of a quarterback, in Detroit. So
yeah, and there's some other good running backs here if Spears gets taken, but I feel like I'm hoping that we get him.
So who else do you think that would be?
I think Foreman has double correlations, and I think he's another guy who's good.
Yep.
I'm not on Singletary as much.
Yep.
And I like Chuba. I wouldn't mind Gainwell. You've got double correlations, and what if he's the answer?
Right.
I don't mind. Oh, we're on. Spears made it. Phenomenal.
Oh, nice, dude. Oh, my God. Dude, I'm so excited, man. What a team.
Yeah, this is not a bad team.
Nice.
All right. So I don't mind Gesicki as my 3rd tight end because I think he's a big spike week guy, and he would fill in that New England thing.
Yeah, but I would actually wait. Can I tell you who I'd wait for?
He just went.
I'd wait for like Thornton. I'd wait for Thornton, or
I like Thornton.
I wait for our guy there, Boot. I think he's a sleeper. That dude can fly. Boot, the kid they drafted.
Yes.
He can fly. He got injured, but he's like one of those guys that if you peel back the layers, he has that potential to be one of those screamers that gets downfield and he separates like you would not believe if you see some of his healthy tape.
I did. I watched his tape. I started taking him when he fell to the 20th round.
Yeah.
I still lean more Pierce Strong. All right, so Josh Downs is the guy that I think we have to add to the queue.
Okay.
Since we got Richardson.
I like Alec Pierce too. Is he still there?
I think he's gone.
I like Mechie too, and
I like
Houston.
Mechie a lot.
And I kind of want to root for him too. So if we had him,
I think he's gone though.
I'd be
excited. No, Mechie's right here.
I'd be happy just because of the whole.
And he would be a really nice correlation with Spears for week 17.
He's the kind of guy that's gonna like connect with the quarterback and like be there. Like he's gonna be catching a ton underneath.
I mean, he was very highly regarded coming out. I didn't like his tape as much, but I'm not as good with tape with wide receiver like I am with running back.
No, I got you.
I like Lenny. I think Lenny is an interesting pick for this team.
I don't know. Dude, I guess now at this point, you could probably throw a dart.
We can wait. Gainwell is interesting.
Yeah.
But if you want Mechie, but then we're done at wide receiver with 8 with this build.
No, I would say like if we can get Mechie later, but let somebody else take him early. But earlier.
No, I mean we're already 8 picks past where he normally goes. So if we want Mechie, it's now. If not, I'm good with Chuba Hubbard.
I'd rather have Mechie over Hubbard. I mean, I know it's a lot of wide receivers. I mean, but
Well, no,
look at
I think
it's ridiculous.
It just puts Pierre Strong in play for me for the New England correlation.
Okay.
I love Strong.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ramondre gets hurt, I 100% believe he's going to be the lead guy.
Yeah. I don't believe I think we know who Ty Montgomery is. And he's not that guy.
No.
Even though they claim to think he is, but what else we got?
Let's take wide receiver out. So I think we got to go running back next.
I don't hate Hayden Hurst either, but I thought that would be one of the late ones.
I think that would. I think we really need to see. Here's Jelani waiting down.
I'd rather
here.
have Jelani though.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, just the way athleticism is off the charts. It's like we're shooting for the moon at this point. So I'd rather have Jelani.
I think Ty Chandler is interesting at this point.
Oh yeah, me too. I agree. Yeah, I think we have to look at those backfields that sort of have openings. Like I said,
Keontae Ingram.
Yep, that's another name.
And then Pierre. All right, so we only got 2 picks left. I think we need at least one running back and one. We need one running back and then a tight end or a running back.
Okay. Of the running backs that we have, to go with your guy Strong. Why not?
Yeah, I think that.
But you can probably save that for late.
Yeah, so I think then if we really want not likely, I don't mind reaching for Jelani here.
Yeah, neither do I. And I don't think.
And then we, we're going to be a little weak at running back, having only 5. But I don't care. I think this is the kind of team where, we're just so good everywhere else that if Barkley and Sanders are what we hope they are, and Spears is what we think he is, we're going to be fine.
Right. Yeah, Believe me, I've had some teams, best ball teams, where a couple of guys carried. They carried the running backs, and the other guys just chipped in a little bit. It was like 2 guys who buy all the alcohol at the kegger, and the rest of the guys just throwing a couple of bucks, and that's fine, as long as everybody else is really killing it. And I think we have guys that really, our correlation stacks are ridiculous, man.
I agree. All right, Jelani. That gives us, I think that's a really interesting last game.
Right.
Richardson versus Vegas. That could, 2 teams that don't have good defenses.
Oh my God. It's gonna be great. Oh my God. That's just insane.
And then
that's why I was saying, I mentioned that earlier too on Twitter when people were asking about, because you had mentioned that actually about you had put a poll up, I think, about your guys or something like that. I think it was you, or it might have been somebody else, that when you're looking at, when you're drafting, and one of the things I mentioned is that when I'm looking at my guys are guys that I feel like that have upside, that are in a playoff situation at the end of the season of playing for something, have a good shootout potential and correlation. So all of those become my guys. So I'm picking mostly from those teams. So that's why you're looking at what we've got constructed right now. There's a lot of those guys that I like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a team that if you look at, we're 3 late tight ends, but we like all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receivers are sick. We got sick value on Barkley. I believe in Pierre Strong.
I can't believe you got Barkley that late, by the way. That was really crazy to me.
I know. And
people fall asleep.
Well, his ADP's been dropping because running backs are falling out of favor. So for those listening at home, you can now see we've got Josh Allen. We've got him with Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox, with only Pierre Strong coming back. But, Buffalo could blow out New England.
Absolutely,
that last game.
Yep.
We've got Anthony Richardson with Pittman and Jelani, with Jacoby Myers coming back. We've got 3 other mini stacks, all of which I like very much. Johnny, I'm pretty happy with this team.
Yeah, and just to put another point on your the New England and Buffalo matchup, Todd, I think that they could be playing deep into the season for something, because I do think that the Jets are a much better team. I think that Miami's a better team this year, and I think they're going to be pushing towards the end of the season for something. So we could be looking at these teams playing for something, and we could see a New England team at the bottom of the division not playing for anything. So I mean, you could see, like you said, a blowout where they're just throwing and doing their thing, and then somebody like Pierre Strong's like closing out the game and has 15 to 18 carries, so it's possible.
Well, and look, week 17, if things don't work out for the Patriots and Ramondre's dinged up, Pierre Strong might be the starter that week.
It could be, yeah.
And so I had a blast doing this with you, Johnny. We definitely should do it more.
Yeah.
I'll
try to get my camera fixed. I don't want to deny the world this.
I know. I mean, it's I personally feel bereft. To our erstwhile co-patriot Ray Summerlin, and for Rumford Johnny, I'm Todd. I want to thank everyone for watching. We're going to post the team up there. Give us your thoughts. And next week, my guest on the regular podcast is David Zach, who's been doing a young guy doing a lot of good work in best ball, followed by Mike Leone the week after. Thank you, everyone, for supporting it. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy, and we will see you guys soon.